Hey guys, this is Whitney, and welcome back to another episode of Spastic Chatter. This Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community, and I get together weekly with individuals with CP like myself to have a kind of uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's like living with this type of disability. And thanks to the age of social media, I came across my guest this week on Instagram. Uh,
Yeah,
I I'm not gonna lie. I searched the cerebral palsy hashtag, and I think that's how I found my guest Miguel. And I just thought he was a really cool person, and I wanted to interview him. So today we are gonna learn more about Miguel and his, I guess you can call it, platform down with disability. So I'll let Miguel introduce himself. So
hi. Well, first of all, Whitney, thank you so much for having me. This is really, I'm really excited for this. But like you said, my name is Miguel Ayala. I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I just started doing kind of my YouTube channel and the Instagram for my disability about 3 years ago. But it started off being kind of a hobby, you could say, and it's kind of turned more into kind of a passion for me, actually. So yeah, there's not there's not much to. I'm a pretty simple guy, so yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty much
that's
it.
awesome. That's pretty much how like everything started for me too. It started as a hobby, and then like you said, you're passionate about it, so it grows into something more. So um, we're gonna take it way back. Can you tell me about your childhood and growing up with cerebral palsy?
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, looking back, I'd say that generally I had a pretty good childhood. I was lucky enough to always be surrounded by really supportive people around me, whether that be like teachers, my family, or friends. However, my like how I perceived my childhood was a different story, because I felt like, especially growing up, I felt that having the cerebral palsy, I felt that it was just so unfair, and I grew up with a lot of resentment. And I actually, I mean, it's something that I continually struggle with even today. But especially when I would say elementary, middle school, like basically up until the end of college, I struggled with a lot of resentment and just trying to find, I guess you could say, like my self worth, with dealing with cerebral palsy and how that played a role in my life.
Also, isn't that where I looked on your website before this? Isn't that where your down with disability came from? Like you said, like you mentioned on your website, like you were like down about it at first, and now you're like down with it. Like I'm
Yeah,
disabled and I'm proud.
yeah, no. So that's actually how I kind of. So it's gone through a variation of names, but I came to down with disability because um, you kind of said it exactly, like, right, especially with cerebral palsy. You can be like literally down on the floor if you fall. You can be down about it, emotionally, or and then you can. The goal, at least for me in my life, has been to get to a point where I am not only okay with my disability, but I embrace it. So I'm down with it.
That's awesome. I can totally relate to that because there was a time in my life, especially like getting into adulthood, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, why me? I was going to all these job interviews and getting into like my career and like I was like, why me? Like this is so hard. And then like as you grow older, you learn to accept yourself because
Yeah,
we can't change the fact that we were
yeah.
born with a disability. We were born this way, so it's like we can't change it. So might as well accept it.
No, you're totally right. And I don't know, obviously, like your experience, but when you grow older, you kind of discover that the, the issues kind of recycle each other, except you kind of instead of dealing them with like childish, like I want to be able to run or I want to be able to play sports, you kind of move into like more adult problems of, like you were saying, like, oh my gosh, I have to find a job, and my
Yeah,
ability is impacting this. So yeah, it's like a constant cycle that we have to just keep reminding us, like, okay, I've made it this far, and then I'll make it past this new bump too.
and
So
I think it's good to add that as you grow older, your views on situations change, like your perspective change. You mature. So like the way we looked at it when we were like little kids, to the
right.
way we look at it as adults is completely different.
Yeah, you
It's,
definitely get new perspective with
yeah,
life.
and don't get me wrong, I still have those FML moments,
Yeah.
why me? But I just have to it's okay to take a second to process it, have like a good cry session or whatever you want to do, and then you have to pick yourself up and move on.
Right. I mean, for me, that's been the whole point of my YouTube channel, right? Of like exactly like you're saying, love. Like, it's okay to be down as long as you don't stay there, because that's when it becomes an issue. And it was for me. I used to just stay in the despair of everything, and I didn't see like a light at the end of the tunnel. But it's like in pulling yourself out, that even if you go back down to that low, you'll kind of learn to navigate yourself out. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Or does that make
yeah,
sense?
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yes, I totally agree with that. So you mentioned that you started your platform or whatever like 3 years ago. What made you want to take that leap and put yourself out there?
Oh man. So this is actually so a lot of things. So even when I was in high school, I kind of had, it was just always a thought of like, oh, maybe I should start a YouTube channel. I didn't think much of it, but then I was very insecure when I was growing up as well. And I was like, no, I can't start a channel because A, I don't know enough. And then if someone in school sees it, they might judge me or stuff like that. So I kind of just kept pushing it back. And then in 20, all the while getting more life experience, of course. And then in 2017, I yeah, I just finally I don't know what it was. I think so. So I had a brother who had also a disability. He had epilepsy, and so I got to see kind of how he dealt with it, and another side of it. I guess you could say. And then in 2017, I decided to start it because I I just didn't like we were talking about the despair. I didn't like seeing another person just being in despair about their disability,
Yeah,
because when you're in that mindset, you kind of just lose. I guess you kind of don't see the purpose anymore. And for me, I was like, if I can help anybody who's feeling that way get out of that mindset, or at least work to improve it, then I need to start my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's what kind of forced me to start it. And then if you like, I don't recommend this, but if you look at my first video, I was so nervous. I didn't know how to talk in front of a camera, and I still don't. It's something that I'm getting better at, but through the years, it's made me more comfortable to talk about my disability and my own insecurities as well.
that's awesome. Oh, here's a funny story about me. If you ever watch, or for anyone out there that's ever watched my videos, you already know this story. But I didn't start making videos until freshman year in college, because it was a way for me to cope with things, because I was on my own and it was just a struggle. So I took to YouTube and vlogging and stuff. But I never like told any of my family and friends about it. It was just my thing, and like it grew into something bigger, like because of the disability community. So like
Vast.
vast. But my twin sister found a video like looking on the internet, and she shared it and was like, Winnie's not gonna share this, so I'm gonna do it for her. It's been like my friends and family saw everything, and like so it's grown into what it is now because not because I was brave enough to do it. It's just that my twin sister saw it and I was like, this needs to be shared. So I finally got the courage. That kind of gave me the push to like start sharing publicly. And then it's like just grown into what it is today.
That's so awesome. I mean, I'm sure you weren't too happy about it at the time, but I mean, I would say good for your sister, or else neither of us would be here right now. And I totally agree with you. Even when I started in 2017, I didn't tell a single soul about it. I think it was only my 5 friends that kept encouraging me to. I was like, okay, I'm going to post this one video. I'm not going to say anything. You're not allowed to say anything. And I went like that for like a good year and a half. I would post videos and just not say anything. And for me, it's actually, like you were saying, like actually getting the confidence to share it myself. Honestly, it's something that I still struggle with. But it gets better as the years go by, I guess.
Yeah, as you mature, because like you were saying that your first video was like you were quiet and stuff. My first video, my voice was like a whisper, like you cannot hear me, like, and like it's just like grown because I learned, excuse my language, but I learned not to give a shit. Like, who cares? Like, this is the authentic. You're getting the authentic Whitney. Like, I don't. If you don't like me, I don't really
care. Right. Because it's like at the end of the day, you might not even know the person. So why would you? You know, as long as you, like you're saying, like you're being authentic to yourself. Like if somebody has a problem with it, then they could watch somebody else, or they could just So,
but there are those like trolls out there. I don't know if have you experienced any negative.
Not yet. I've been fortunate, but I'm barely starting, so I think that might have to do with it. Like I'm barely, you obviously have more experience than I do, but not yet. I'm waiting for it though. I'm like it's gonna come.
People that hide behind their keyboard, I think, I hate to say this, but I think like the more disabled that you are, the more disabled you appear. They thrive on that, trying to like bring you down. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like at first, I'm not gonna lie, it really did. When I was younger, it really did like upset me, and I stopped YouTube for a while because of it. And then, like, as I got older, I was like, why give them the satisfaction of...
Exactly. At the end of the day, they have no real impact. And, like, for example, for you, in your career, right? So, whatever.
And you were and I like how you said that, like you started your YouTube because, like, you wanted to motivate people. And if we stop because of the internet trolls, then the people that really need to see our videos aren't gonna get that. Aren't gonna get what they need.
Yeah. And something that I tell myself is, whenever, even in everyday life, right? Like if somebody says like a rude comment, or like especially online, I think, I don't think they would say anything that I personally haven't said to myself. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, whatever. I've dealt with that. You can have that opinion.
Yeah, I've overcome that. You can think what you want.
Right.
But okay, getting back to your platform, I noticed that you do a segment for daily stretches.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so that one, so I actually just started that. Actually, today's going to be the 35th day of daily stretching. And the reason I started was because I'm terrible at physical therapy. I have been my whole life. When I was younger, I used to see it as a chore. So again, it just added to that resentment of having to do something that able people or normal people um, didn't have to, right? So I was like, oh, no fair. Now that I've gotten older, I'm like, shoot, maybe I should have done physical therapy because I could have been a lot more flexible. I could have been a lot stronger. So now that I have like that I'm doing this YouTube and the Instagram, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start tackling all of my weaknesses or all of the things that I didn't take care of when I was little. I'm gonna start tackling them one by one, and stretching is one of them. So honestly, I do live videos every day of just me stretching, and it's honestly to keep myself accountable.
Yeah.
um, and then I've gotten a really positive response from like the Instagram community or the disabled community on my Instagram. So yeah, it's just been a blast so far.
Have you seen any progression from your stretching or
It's oh man, it's so hard to for me to say because I'm very picky. So for example, if I don't have like if I don't do it like with perfect form, then I don't count it. So but I've definitely felt myself getting stronger. I have to go back and look at my very first video, but I'm sure I was way more tight. I'm sure my muscles were way more tight. And one of the exercises that we do is just push-ups. So when I started, I think I could barely do 10, and now I'm up to 30. So I mean, there has been some improvement.
has
But
your
yeah,
mood changed when you started like working out stuff? I know that like working out for me is like very therapeutic and like
yeah,
I can see a I can see a difference when it comes to like my mood and depression and stuff for like working out.
yeah. No, definitely. It definitely just makes me forget about the stress with work and stuff like that, or anything that I might be having on going on in life. Um, but I just so for me working out, I just love the feeling of my body getting stronger,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's that feeling that keeps me with it. I don't know if it's the same for you
Yeah.
from a female perspective, but
Yeah. It kind of gets your it gets your endorphins going, like your adrenaline going. It just like
yeah,
makes you feel good after. Like I feel good after I work out. Like I don't know. I might be a weird one, but I feel good I feel good after. The
no,
next
I'm
day
right
the
there with
next
you.
day the next day I might not feel as good, but like right after I felt pretty good. um. So what is your future goals, or what are some of your future goals for just in general, or your platform?
Ooh, man, I it's kind of I guess I don't know the right answer to that because I'm honestly just taking it day by day.
Yeah,
Um, man,
that's totally
ideally,
fine.
huh?
That's totally fine because some things you just need to take day by day. Like you don't know. Like the future is uncertain.
Yeah, I mean for sure because when I first started, of course, like I was like, oh, I need to like grow my following, I need to grow my subscriber count and all that stuff. But now I'm just like, whoever finds my videos and whoever likes my videos, then that's good, and I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah,
So
I think we get too we for those that are like in social media and stuff. We get too caught up in like how many subscribers we have. And, like,
yeah,
that's not the main purpose of putting our message out there. Like I kind of have to stop myself and like because I get those thoughts too, and I kind of had to like stop myself and be like, wait, why am I doing this? It's not to gain
right.
popularity and to get however many subscribers.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, if it were up to me, I would be totally off social media. But I mean, with my career, it's just not
Yeah.
possible for me. But yeah, that would be the dream, I think, to be really all social media.
Yeah. Well, do you have any advice for other people that like just advice in general, or you can do more specific?
Oh man. Um, so advice in general. I mean, if you're struggling, like we were saying, with embracing your disability, I would just say, man, it sounds kind of a lot easier to say, especially being
Yeah.
in that mindset. But I would just say, just keep pressing forward, and it doesn't matter how minimal your improvements may seem, because over time they'll build on each other. Like with the stretching, right? That's a perfect example. Day to day, I don't even notice if I'm improving or stuff like that. But I'm sure, like 60 days from now, I'll be like, wow, I feel great, you know. So
Yeah.
it's kind of,
Exactly.
so it's kind of like that type of thing. I would just say, yeah, keep pressing forward.
That's awesome. So, where can people find you on social media?
So I'm on Instagram, like you were saying, at down with this. So down with disability, but just down with this. And then I'm on Facebook as well, with that handle. I am on TikTok and all of the other ones, but I don't post as often anymore. Um, Honestly, the easiest way to find me is, I guess, just going to my website, downwithdisability.com. You'll find everything there, and then I'll start posting blogs here pretty soon as well. So that'll be your main.
And then all of that will be in the description below. And thank you, Miguel, for agreeing to be on an
Of course.
episode of Spastic Chatter. I had a really good time talking with you.
Same, Whitney. Yeah, thank you.
And for the just to close out, for those of you watching and you want to be on an episode of Spastic Chatter, there's an email link in the description, or you can just leave a comment on this video. We are also on uh, Spotify and iTunes, so if you want to listen to the episode. Um, but again, thank you, Miguel, and check back next week for another episode of Spastic Chatter. Bye.
Bye, everyone.